Let's take a look at moving and duplicating elements on your spreadsheet. Let's say I have a label up here. If I click on my label called average and I place my pointer right on the border, you're going to see my pointer change to a four-headed arrow. I'm not talking about the fill handle here. I'm just pointing it right at the border. And whenever you see that four-headed arrow, you can click, hold down your mouse, and you can drag this to another place on the page or on another sheet if you'd like. If I click, I can drag it back, click, drag it somewhere else. I can always do a Control Z, which is an undo. Control Z is in zebra, and that'll undo your action. Likewise, if I place my pointer on the border and then hold down the Control key, you'll see I get that familiar plus sign on the right side of the pointer. Holding my Control key, I can click and drag, and if I let go of my mouse first, then the Control key, it will make a copy of the label. Now you can do whole sections at once, so I could grab all of these labels if I'd like, and if I put my pointer anywhere on the border, I get the four-headed arrow, I can click and drag and move these all at once. I could also come out here, hold my Control key, and make multiple copies of these. Try this again. Hold down my Control key, let go of the mouse first. Control key, let go of the mouse first. Control key, let go of the mouse first, and I can just make multiple copies of these. And I'll just undo those. Interesting point about data as well. If I come out here and just take a look at my cells that contain the data, and I put my pointer on the border, I can move my data to a new location. Now, if you look at my total here and you look at my tax rate, they're no longer pointing at these empty cells. If they did, I'd just get zeros out here. So Excel's smart enough to keep track of the data, and if you move the data, the formula will update to now point at the data's new position. Keep in mind, if you're working on a formula and you grab the formula, you can pull the formula and move it to a new location, and it will still point at the same object or cells that it was pointing at before. I can click and move this anywhere I'd like, and the finished formula will just go ahead and reposition itself. Now, you need to keep in mind that if you come out here and make a copy of this, that is, if I put my pointer on the border, hold down the Control key, and drag this to a new location, and let go of the mouse first, it makes a copy of the formula. The problem is when you copy a formula, the references update in the formula relative to where it's being copied to. So whereas this guy looked at the cells directly, 3 cells directly to the left, this guy will now look at the 3 cells directly to the left. Now let's say I have an object on my spreadsheet. I'm going to come out here and select my data, including my labels on top, and I'm going to come out here to the insert menu, and I'm going to insert a chart under the chart group. I'm going to come out here to column, click the drop down arrow, and choose 3D column chart, and it'll just place a small chart right on my data. I can resize this guy if I'd like. Now, just like before, I can move this around if I want. If I place my pointer right on the border, of course, just like before, I can drag it from one place to another. But if I click on this and start dragging it and then hold down the Control key, it will make a copy of the chart in a new location. Hold down the Control key again. Try this one more time. Start dragging it, hold down the Control key, let go, and I can have multiple charts out here. Then I could go ahead and manipulate the different charts and have different charts representing the same data as an example here. If I want to delete these, I can just click on the chart itself and press delete. If you come out here and insert, say, a shape, and I'll just dump a star out here, click and drag a star. Of course, just like you saw before, I can click and drag this guy, or I can hold down my Control key and just drag and make multiple copies of this thing. Something else you can do with these objects, if you have them out here, you can go ahead and just do a Control D and make duplicates of these with the Control D shortcut key. So lots of different options for working with copying and moving.